on Capitol Hill. Donald Trump will, like Jimmy Carter, begin his new administration with majority support in both chambers of Congress. Though it is a majority on a razor's edge, Republicans will start the new term with one of the smallest majorities in history, which means Trump really can't afford to alienate members of his caucus if he wants to maintain any hope of passing legislation. And yet, even before he actually becomes president, he's already begun to damage his working relationship with some of his colleagues in Congress. This Friday, members of the House will vote to elect their next Speaker of the House. All of the Democrats in Congress are almost certain to vote for Democratic Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, as they did last time. But on the Republican side, it is a lot less clear. In order to get reelected, the current Speaker, Mike Johnson, can currently only afford to lose one Republican vote. And already one of his fellow Republicans has promised to vote against him, with another small group of Republicans appearing to be on the fence. Now, that didn't stop Donald Trump today from announcing wholeheartedly that he is endorsing Mike Johnson for House Speaker, the guy their House Republicans really do not seem like they've got the votes to elect at the moment. So now what? And what will this mean for the incoming president's ability to get Congress to go along with what he wants? Joining me now, the former Republican congressman from Florida, David Jolly, and special correspondent for Vanity Fair, Molly Jong-Fast. Good evening to both of you. Friday night is when the vote is. Friday is when the vote's going to be. I say Friday night, David, because last time with Kevin McCarthy, it was all week, all day, all night until the 15th vote. But what do you sense is going to happen at this point?
Yeah, it's a great question. You mentioned the razor's edge. This comes down to a game of numbers. I think what is different in the resistance to Mike Johnson is it's not really organized, and there's not a leader, right? Whether it was the organized movement against Kevin McCarthy or the Matt Gaetz leadership of the rebel caucus. And so that's helpful to Mike Johnson. You also have Trump weighing in. That's helpful to Mike Johnson. But as you said, he can only lose one vote. Now, the math gets a little interesting because Thomas Massie from Kentucky has already said he's a no on Johnson. If he votes present, as opposed to naming another candidate, Johnson can lose a couple more. The math is you have to have a majority of the votes from members-elect who named a speaker. If somebody just votes present, the math gets a little easier for Mike Johnson. I think what is helping Mike Johnson the most of all right now is nobody else really has a pathway to get the votes either. And nobody else would be in a position to perform from the conservative point of view any better than Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson's had a remarkably John Boehner-like leadership in the last 2 years. He raised the debt ceiling, kept the government open twice, and funded Ukraine. But he can't do anything else because he needs Hakeem Jeffries to be a part of the coalition. So in the absence of somebody that can take the job from Mike Johnson, it's just a matter of how much pain do Republicans want to inflict upon themselves if they decide to make this go to multiple ballots. The last thing I'd say is Donald Trump's endorsement helps. But as we learned from the last carousel of Republican speaker candidates, Donald Trump's endorsement isn't permanent. I mean, if for some reason this goes 2 or 3 votes, maybe Donald Trump starts live tweeting and decides he has another horse in the race.
Molly, what do you make of it? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, again, yeah, it's true. And I would say that, look, Mike Johnson has been really needing those Democratic votes, right? It's not just Hakeem, it's the Democrats, because there are about 30 Republicans who will not vote for a CR. And that's been a real problem. I would say, look, there is a sort of anti-government streak, and we saw this, like Elon was, Xing with Thomas Massie saying, yeah, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Something to that effect. And so here's the question, right? The general ethos here is to shut down the government. And you'll remember, right, that's the thing, is just to keep the government from working, to prove that the federal government is bad. I mean, that's the gestalt. And so here we are. And if you look back at Trump 1.0 in 2016, what happened? He controlled all 3 branches. And what did he do? He shut down the government. So I could see that happening again. Look, Mike Johnson, he has done really well, but he's been able to keep things going. But the only reason he's been able to keep things going is because of those Democratic votes.